The reason why I sought out the Theta Wellness Center, I knew that I had to stop drinking and I had to stop being able to take pain meds, but I also knew that it had to be some kind of a center where I could actually control the pain. And I discovered that I was addicted to the pain also. And the payoff from being addicted to the pain was justifying drinking and taking oxycodone and taking tramadol, quite frankly, in large copious amounts. And I found that if I would clean up from the drugs and the alcohol, I would be in pain. And so I knew I had to seek out a center, a place. I knew it had to be some place where it was whole body wellness, or else it wouldn't work for me. It would be a waste of time and my money. Because I had tried other hospitals. I had tried other places to get cleaned up, and nothing ever worked for me because I was still in agonizing pain. So I sought out the Wellness Center specifically for whole body wellness. And that's the reason why I sought it out. And I knew I had to do it because I knew my body I was at my rope's end. Work wasn't going well. I wasn't sleeping at night. I wasn't able to do any type of meaningful exercise. My relationships were falling apart. I was distant from my children. My sweetheart, she and I were drifting apart. Everything was falling apart. And I knew that something had to change, and I had to be willing to put my rear end on the line and go for it. And I knew the time was right, and that's when I found the Theta Wellness Center, and I checked it out, and I knew it was specifically what I was looking for. According to my experiences, it was exactly what I was looking for. The treatment at the Theta Wellness Center changed my life. It was interesting. The first time I went and the first treatment that I had, I literally had the desire again to exercise. And I knew that exercise had to be a critical component in my wellness because my body, I've been in multiple car accidents. I've had my neck broken, my back's been broken, my shoulders have been separated. And so, yeah, I had an excuse, but I knew that in order to recover, I had to lift weights, I had to do some cardio, I had to be real wise about it, real smart about it. And my experience was the first time I went through the chamber, I immediately had a desire to do some light cardio. And I ended up doing light cardio and light weightlifting, and I started sleeping good. That was interesting. I did not expect to start sleeping good immediately. And I noticed that the chamber, I didn't have the desire to take the pain meds. I didn't have the desire to drink the alcohol. And the pain faded. It literally faded. Now, for the first 2 weeks, I was still hurting a little bit. At times, I would hurt a lot, but I had the tools to use that through the whole wellness center. I had the tools to use to bring myself back into an aligned state where the pain would fade away. It would literally fade away. And my desire to exercise stayed constant. My body responded. The sleep got better. My relationships got better. Everything just took off. But I was committed though. And there were times that I had some rough days, but I stuck with it. And I was really impressed with how quickly things shifted, especially with the chamber and the light bed. The light bed really, for some reason, the light bed just affected me in a very positive way. And the other treatments they do here just took off. Just took off, and it gave me everything that it aligned me. For lack of a better way of saying it, I felt in alignment for the first time in a long time. And I felt that I could just go with it, and I did. And it was amazing the way I felt after my treatments. I just felt great. The first time I went in the Theta Wellness Chamber, I was excited because I just knew in my heart that this was something that if I chose to put my whole being into it and take it on and then use every tool when I wasn't here during the day, it would work. And so my first experience was a feeling of relaxed. I was relaxed. It, for some reason, the cravings just went away. The pain, like I said, the pain would come and go periodically, but it was just an amazing experience. I felt relaxed. I felt encouraged. The biggest surprise was having the desire to exercise. And I was really surprised at the way my relationships, after about a week, my relationships started just taking off. At work, I was able to get up in the morning because I slept good at night. My relationships with my sweetheart, with my kids, with my coworkers, everything just worked. And before, I was sick all the time, hungover, or the pain medications or the pain was making me sick. I would be throwing up from the pain or the pain meds or anything that I was doing to try to control the pain and the heartache and the sorrow that goes with it. It just addressed the whole body, and I was very much impressed with it. And the payoff for me was, quite frankly, the payoff for me was I got my life back. I got my work back. I show up now early, and I have a whole day. And I love exercise, but I also have meaningful relationships with my kids, with my sweetheart, with myself, my life. I can look in the mirror again and smile and go, wow. And it's been very extraordinary. And I know it's just a first step, but they've given me other tools from the training here and from the work here. I've gotten other tools to work with, and things continue to just go very well with me. And I know what it takes, and I know what it takes to continue. And I just, frankly, I feel powerful again. I feel powerful again. I feel in control, and I'm happy. I'm just happy. And that's all I ever wanted. So yeah, was it worth it? Absolutely. Would I do it again? Without question, without hesitation, I would do it again. Was it worth the cost? Well, put it this way, the hospitals that detox you cost upwards 10 times as much. And they don't treat the whole body. They only treat the withdrawals from the medications. And they trade one opiate for another to step down. I knew that wouldn't work for me. And the whole body approach really worked for me. And I would encourage anybody who's willing to take it on and their heart says go, go. Don't hesitate. It's time to take on your life. It's about time. Who would I recommend do it? My family, my friends, anybody who suffers from anxiety, depression, drug dependence. And keep in mind, dependence isn't just drugs. Dependence can be a dependence on pain. Dependence, an addiction can be addiction to pain, an addiction to the internet, an addiction to video games, an addiction to being depressed. You can be addicted to being anxious, sleep disorders. Everything fell into place. You can be. I found that I could be addicted to doing one thing too much, and not balancing in my life. And that was one of the biggest things that I discovered in myself, is that I found that my life suddenly is balanced. And I know I did the work. There's no question I did the work. But the amazing thing is to wake up and have the realization that, wow, my life's pretty balanced. And that was the key. And if I recommend it to my own family and friends, yeah, that's saying something. That's saying a lot. And I do recommend it to my family and friends. The one thing is, if I could stress anything, I could stress that it was a whole body approach. And it wasn't just the chamber, it was the light bed, it was the rapid eye therapy, It was the aromatherapy. It was the meetings, once a week meetings, everything as a whole combination. And then taking on other activities like some light cardio, some light weightlifting, if that works for somebody. I'd recommend exercise. I'd recommend just getting out and enjoying nature. Some of my most difficult times were Friday evenings when I was alone, and Saturday evenings, because that's when I would drink and be depressed, and so I would take more pain meds. And those were the first time. The biggest struggle for me was those first 2 weekends. But I did it, and let me tell you, if I can do it, I know anybody can do it. Because I'm pretty stubborn and pretty tough to get through, but I just know that anybody can do this, and I'm just impressed. I sleep good. That's a big thing for me. I sleep good. Oh, and I didn't mention my blood pressure was sky high. My blood pressure was so sky high that they wanted to put me in a hospital and get some serious treatments for it. My blood pressure has come down to a safe level now, to where I don't have to seek out additional medical advice and medical treatments. I can just be under the care of my doctor, and my blood pressure's good. I don't have to take any medications for it, and that's huge. And that was the other thing I wanted to mention, because it was such a amazing turnaround for me, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat. Matter of fact, I wouldn't have waited. I would have done it sooner if I got the opportunity.